defending your religious freedom. Here is Dr. Chaps.
Welcome back. I'm Dr. Chaps. We're here at the NRB Convention, Proclaim 2020, in Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm meeting, in fact, for the first time in person, but we've known each other for, it seems like 5 years. Sam Sorbo is a radio host, and you've had me on your show dating back to God knows when, probably when I was a Navy chaplain.
Yes, all the way back there.
You defend religious liberty. I love what you do, but you're also the celebrity wife of a celebrity husband. Yes. Kevin Sorbo was a guest on our show, and you guys together wrote this book, True Faith. I've got to ask, what's it like being married to Hercules?
It is very difficult. That's why I had to write a book about it, to explain to people how hard my life is.
Oh my gosh. You say that tongue in cheek. You guys are sweethearts.
Embracing adversity to live in God's light. So, often we think that adversity is, oh, that's terrible. But we should embrace adversity, because adversity gives us the opportunity to show our strengths, gives us the opportunity to grow and become greater than what we maybe ever thought we could. And it's an offshoot of Kevin's first book, which was True Strength, which detailed his recovery from 3 strokes.
Yeah.
And I was there for every step of the way. So.
And he was telling us this story about, here he is, a world famous movie star, right? And he's muscular, and I'm sure you were attracted to that at one point. But then he had a stroke. No, seriously, like life endangering. 3 strokes.
Yeah.
And then 4 months later, you married him?
Yes.
You knew that he could become disabled.
I had faith. And that's partly why this book sort of generated from that. I had faith. I don't know where that faith came from. I think it was just Spirit instilled faith that he would make a full recovery, which he did. It took 3 years. But he jokes that I got the for worse part before I got the for better part.
Yeah.
And I say, well, I'm still waiting for the for better part. Where is it?
You're terrible. But your honeymoon, literally, for those first 1, 2, 3 years was caring for him in his recovery.
Yeah, there wasn't a honeymoon per se, but I married the man of my dreams. I got exactly what I wanted, and it took 3 years for delivery.
Yeah.
But we have a very strong marriage, and we
God
support.
healed him.
Yes, and we support marriage.
Yeah.
And
22 years now.
Yeah, marriage is an institution of faith. So yes, it's a church institution. It's God's created institution for unity in the flesh, right? But it also takes a great deal of faith to walk down the aisle and commit yourself to another individual human being for the rest of your life.
Which is actually the name of the book, True Faith, Embracing Adversity to Live in God's Light. You've been through that adversity.
Yes. And by the way, it continues, right? So we struggled with infertility, so that's part of this book.
Wow.
And we worked together.
And you overcame that?
Yes, we overcame that. We have 3 beautiful children,
Wonderful.
18, 15, and 14.
Praise God.
I homeschool. I'm a homeschool advocate. I'm an education activist.
One of your issues is education.
Yes.
I want you to really hit that hard. Why do you care?
Education is the beginning and the end. There's basically nothing else, because education is the prism through which you see the world. All of your perceptions are filtered by the education that you have.
Okay.
And we are no longer educating children in the United States in our
public schools, the government schools.
In the government schools.
Yeah.
In fact, we're discouraging them from getting educated. So the mark of a good education is the ability to entertain a thought without losing your self-control or your confidence. And we see everything but. We see safe spaces. We see la 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 la. We see your banned speech. We see everything but the ability to entertain a thought without losing your composure, right?
Yeah.
So I want to wake people up. That's sort of been a bit of a mission call for me, is to wake people up to this idea that we actually can't even define education anymore. And in fact, I say to people, why don't you homeschool? And they say, well, what about socialization? What about it? We're talking about education, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on.
My observation is that the liberalization of the government schools is beyond excuse. We need to pull kids out of government schools, period. If charter schools are an option, maybe that's better than a public school. You definitely need, better than that is a religious school or parochial school. Better than that is homeschooling. Homeschooling is the tip of the spear, because the smartest children that come out of homeschooling are, they retain their parents' biblical morals and values, and they're actually smarter. They test better.
Right. So the goal of public schools is what? College prep and career readiness. What is college prep? It's preparing you to spend a lot of money. We're going to put you in debt. Yay! Put my child in debt.
What for?
For what?
Yeah.
A career? They're not getting careers. They're hardly getting jobs when they get out of college.
Apprenticeships are more effective sometimes.
Right. So we need to rethink the way we're looking at this. We need to put entrepreneurship back into education. We're not teaching young people to be entrepreneurs. We're teaching them to get a job, to work for somebody else, to be a good worker. Oh, that sounds very much like communism to me.
Oh, right. Oh,
So there's a whole, so we have to recalibrate how we view education in the United States. And we can, because why? Because we're American and we can do this. But somebody has to bring attention to it, and so that's what I see as my mission now. It's raising attention.
You're on the right path. I want to give you a minute to plug your book and your website, and how can people subscribe to your radio content?
Okay, so I do a radio show every day from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It broadcasts at mojo50.com.
Mojo50.com.
In fact, that's almost the way he says it. Mojo50.com. Anyway.
Right.
Mojo50. And I podcast the same radio content every day at mikeonline.com. That's Mike Gallagher's site. And thanks to Salem Media for hosting my podcast.
Yeah.
And my website is samsorbo.com. My books are available there. I have 2 homeschooling books. One of them is a devotional for families.
What are they titled?
They're Your Kids, an inspirational journey from self-doubter to homeschool advocate.
Okay, they're your kids.
And the other one is Teach from Love, and it's a series of devotions focused on godly virtue. Let's give our children some godly virtue and some morals, right? Used to be public schools were developed in order to instill godly values in our children.
Yeah.
That's why they used the Bible. Why? Because they wanted citizens who could uphold the law.
Yeah. Yeah, but we need entrepreneurial, out-of-the-box thinkers who can create and become everything God designed them to be.
Yes, and I'll tell you something, there isn't a greater gift than home education. It's a gift that you give yourself and your children at the same time, because it bonds the family. It's just the most wonderful thing, and it enables you. So I'm about empowering parents to make that choice, because it's an empowering choice to make. And I've done the most amazing thing. I never would have written a book. I never would have written a second book. I mean, I've done things because I chose to home educate my children, and that taught me what I was capable of. Number one objection that parents hit me with is, I don't know how. And I say to them, okay, so you went to high school, right? Yeah, I graduated high school. Okay, and yet you feel inadequate to teach a 3rd grader. So think about that, right?
Yeah.
But
are you smarter than a 5th grader?
You're
asked
willing,
Jeff Foxworthy.
right? But you're willing to take your pride and joy, that 3rd grader, and send him into a system that turned out the likes of you.
Yeah.
Arguably is worse today. Like, why are we not thinking? Because we've been taught not to think. We've been taught to answer the test.
You're doing it great. Her book is True Faith, and Sam Sorbo is a rock star. I'll tell you, go to her website, samsorbo.com. We'll be right back. I'm Dr. Chaps. You know, some people are worried that we're losing our country, but they ask, how can we take a stand? We have produced now these 2 effective resources for you, a DVD video series and a book. Yours for a suggested donation of just $50, and we will offer you 4 videos on this disc to teach you how to become an effective Christian activist. For example, how did I send 5 million petitions to Congress? How did we organize and change bad laws or policies in 13 states? How did I run and win a seat in the Colorado legislature? We will also offer you this 30-day prayer manual, How to Liberate the World in 30 Days. They're both yours for a suggested donation of just $50. Visit our website, prayinjesusname.org, or write to the address on your screen, or better yet, pick up the phone and call us at 866-OBEY-GOD. You can learn the easy steps to take back your country. Call us today.
Dr. Chaps needs your financial support to stay on the air. Would you please send your best donation today? Please visit PrayInJesusName.org to donate online. Or you can mail a check to Pray in Jesus Name Ministries, Post Office Box 77077, Colorado Springs, Colorado 80970. You can also call us toll free right now at 866-OBEY-GOD. That's 866-OBEYGOD. Please sign up for our free emails at PrayInJesusName.org. Again, that's PrayInJesusName.org.